Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to Matic TV. I'm here with the guys. We are looking ahead towards 2022, discussing what has happened over the last week, discussing everything in the news with Man United. The transfer window is officially open. United are playing Wolves tomorrow. There's loads to get through. There's players that might be playing. There's players that we want to play. There's players we don't want to play. There's players we just have not got a Scooby-Doo. What is going to happen with him? We're going to discuss that from our side right now. But joining me today, I've got, first of all, up top corner, Jamie. He was with us at Newcastle, mate. Christmas was all right, mate. He told me then. New Year, a little bit better, especially with a win against Burnley in the bag as well, mate. But overall, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Oh, it was nice to see you and your boy again in Newcastle, which was always good to catch up with you. Poor game, but always nice to see you, mate. But yeah, Christmas has been nice. Pretty low key up here. New Year, nice as well. A few drinks and a bit of a sore head. I'm not a big drinker, Adam. I had a couple too many last night, mate. So I'm struggling a bit. I'm on the old peppermint tea.
That's it. Nice. And good to get Flawless back on, because good to get a look on how he's seen the last few weeks going, because I haven't spoken to Flawless since Ollie was sacked. He was in the actual category of fan of needing Ollie out of this football club. A lot were at the time. But Flawless, mate, first of all, good Christmas. Happy New Year, mate. I hope you're well. How's life been, pal?
Same to you. Yeah, Christmas was good. New Year's was good as well. No complaints whatsoever. Like you touched on, Ollie leaving. I have zero complaints. You know what I'm saying? And that was
mate,
like,
and you're a busy man on the mic as well. I've seen all your posts up on that, mate, doing big things.
Yeah. Obviously, music's got into it now, hosting shows and stuff like that. So I appreciate the kind words as well. So yeah, looking forward to that, especially in this coming year as well. They just posted a show we got coming up this month as well. So looking forward to all of that. Staying busy. I'm saying even more stuff coming up.
Talking about busy, I've got a feeling that my man below me here is going to ditch his Mancunian roots and move to London soon enough, because he's there every leading day. Saeed, mate, what's going on, buddy?
Nah, I'm not going to leave. Definitely not. Man. I think Manchester, as much as I'm in London, man. Listen, London's just crazy, man. Manchester's just one of them people where we're just chilled out. Everyone's 100 miles an hour in London, which I don't think I can take for too long, man. But yeah, we're good. New Year's was good, and yeah, man, just fresh start again. Hopefully, we get a positive year this year. Hopefully,
that's it, mate.
Fingers crossed,
mate. Me and you were talking, Said, on your channel on New Year's Eve, mate. Talking about going forward, what's expected, and what we're hoping for the year. The year is here now, mate, and Ralfs already come out. Cavani staying, mate. Take us away with Cavani staying, mate. I mean, going off the Newcastle game, going off. Again, he did have an influence, although he wasn't in the goals against Burnley, but it can only be good news for United fans going forward, mate, if he does stay till the end of the season, surely.
Yeah, 100%, especially after when he came over to the East Stand and almost looked like he was going to, waving his goodbyes. I thought, that was kind of the final straw. But, as much as I was saying, if teams, players want to leave the football club and players want to go to different clubs, it's the worst possible time to leave in January. A lot of this should have been solved in the summer. It didn't. It's people like Jesse Lingard and Cavani and Martial, and then they thought January would be that quick. When you have that quick exit, they thought that it would be a quick exit. But with this whole COVID, Adam, and with all this games postponement, it's for me, it's one of the things where the manager, can he just say to them, you know what, yeah, you can leave. There has to be a kind of... it has to be done the right way. So with Cavani, no one really has come for him. He said he wants to leave, but no one really has come for him. Martial and Donny van der Beek, they're almost certain that if a club comes for him, then they'll leave. And it's more a case of Martial is that, clubs can't afford his wages. But with Cavani, it is one of the things is that, you're 35 in February, is a move a must for you? Is a move, you've only got maybe a couple of years at the top. Would it be damaging to your career to not leave in the summer? And I don't think it would be, and that's why the reason why, he's saying that we need players like Cavani. We need him, and I think United fans, especially me, I would love Cavani to stay. I think it gives us something different, and I think it's one of the things where up front he might do all the dog work and the one way he presses from the front, and then it maybe help. Ronaldo up top to just stay there. I'm not saying goal hang, but just almost like being around that area and then be that kind of pouncing, and that kind of goal poacher. So For me, like I said to you, I was one of them situations where if he wants to leave and the manager lets him go, fair enough. We can't keep anyone that doesn't want to be here. But if he says, you know what, we need you here, mate, and can you leave in the summer? Fair play. I'm having that as well.
I mean, Jamie, I'll come to you next, mate. I mean, like I said before, you was at the Newcastle game with us, and one of the positives besides David De Gea was obviously our man Cavani, and we were saying there at the game, mate, afterwards, beforehand, while it was going on, that we really cannot afford to let Ederson go. Not at this time. If we are going to salvage anything out of this season, surely we need to be doing everything to keep him, mate. It looks like Ralph is in the same boat as us, mate. He doesn't see Cavani leaving.
Yeah, he's too much of a big personality to let leave that squad at the moment. We're very fragile at the moment as a squad. There's a lot of sort of noise around the fans not backing certain players. Players are not performing. There's different stuff coming out all the time, but you never hear anything about that with Cavani. Like he's just got that level of professionalism and that world class element about him. I think everybody knows his footballing ability is not the standard of where it was a couple of years ago, because I think the general way he carries himself and helps the younger players, he's definitely took that role upon himself. And I think there's probably players in that squad who are a little bit in awe of Ronaldo and maybe of Bruno, but I don't get that from Cavani. He's not impressed by Ronaldo or Bruno. He's on their level anyway. You know what I mean? He's played at the top level for his whole career, and I feel like with a player of that personality, you can't just let him go. On the field as well, he has such an influence on our team at the moment, and he, like Saeed said a minute ago, he gives 100% all the time. And you can't ask for any more of someone putting on a red shirt. That's the least that we expect, you know. And the fans love him. Obviously, we were chanting his name at the Newcastle game practically the whole game. And he did make a massive difference. So he offers a lot off the pitch, but on the pitch as well, he brings a lot of quality to the team and leadership, which we really lack at the moment.
That's it. I mean, Flawless, mate, I'll bring you in on that in terms of what Ralph's doing with the players and who he's trying to sort of make sure he's still around towards the back end of this season now. But obviously, like I said at the start then, I've not spoke to you since Ollie was in charge of the football club. It's been a few weeks now, mate. We've seen a lot. A lot has happened. We talked off camera then. It's been a crazy ride over the last couple of months, mate. But first of all, mate, you happy with Ralph in? And in terms of his progress, mate, are you liking what you're seeing? Is it steady enough for you? Because it's a big ship to try and steady, mate, because it was rocking all over the shop before he came in.
Oh, when he came on board, we was like below sea level. Like we was like, we was the Titanic. Yeah. We was like in the Titanic, water on board, holes all in the ship. Like this is a massive job. Like everything was an issue. So yeah, I was happy about Ralph coming in. More so, what I was more happy about was him taking a consultancy role at the end of the run. If he had just came in and was here for 6 months, I'd be like, all right, it seems just like a money grab. Like, let me come in for 6 months and whatever happens. Whereas he's here for 6 months and then he goes into the consultancy role and then he can help the next manager because he'll know the players personally, who the manager should keep, who they shouldn't keep, etc. Who really is a problem, who's not a problem. So in terms of Ralph, absolutely happy about it. From what I've seen in the first game, I think everybody got excited. I think everybody was giddy in regards to the Palace game. And then we got a real hit. Was it the Norwich game after that one? That really was just a bad performance. Very, very painful. The Newcastle game, thankfully, I was going to go up there because I had tickets for it. And I didn't go. And like after watching it, I was like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't go. Because, again, just a bad performance. And I couldn't put my finger on why. And I didn't watch the Burnley game, but I heard, obviously you three will tell me, I heard we did play better and we looked more proactive and looked better going forward as to why. So yeah, in regards to Ralph, yeah, I'm happy with the progress he's making because I'm not going to agree with everything he does, but I trust his judgment. So I'm all with it. Like everybody told me under Ollie, back the manager. Now the tables have turned, back the manager. I don't want to hear anything. Let's back him and see how he does. People are trying to shout Ralph out after 3 games. Like he's had 3 for none of these are his players. That is ridiculous. But yet we gave Ollie 2.5, 3 years. And everyone was like, yeah, give him time. Yeah, give him time. I seen Ralph out and I was like, at least let him, like, if this was the, like, people complaining about his lineups. I didn't particularly like all of his lineups, but if that was his his second game in charge and people complaining about it, if it was 22nd game in charge, I'd be like, all right, cool. But yeah, it's like, let's see how it happens. And as you can see, there is a mess because you're hearing Martial wants to leave. Cavani wants to leave. I'm not sure on the Cavani. Has Cavani actually said he wants to go? Is that what he said?
Cavani, we knew was going at the end of
said
the
he's done.
season. I think
End of the
that's what
season.
he's officially said. Look, he's gone at the end of the season. But what's happening behind the scenes is it's rumours more about the January move. But I've heard nothing from Cavani's mouth particularly.
Never, yeah.
He's not come January.
Out. So he's not said anything. But like you said, Said, you was talking at the game and it looked like he was saying his goodbyes. I say this all the time. If a player doesn't want to be at Manchester United, move the player on. There's no benefit to having, no matter how good a player is, there is no benefit to having an unhappy player because as soon as it goes wrong, he's not really going to fight for it. And that's whether the player's a first team or squad player. I've seen someone mention Lingard. It's the same thing. I'm a fan of Cavani. I think he's a good striker. If he doesn't want to be here, move him on. Same with Lingard and same with any other player.
Do you think they're flawless? Do you think they're flawless now that Ralf Rangnick's probably tested his water thinking, listen, I'm a new manager here. You know, it's not Ollie. It's not Ellie anymore. It's not the backroom stuff. I'm a new man. You know, we can talk differently now. What is it? Do you want? Do you want this? Do you want that? You know, maybe you can, you know, be reasonable with Cavani and say, listen, I think you've got opportunities in this squad. You know, we're playing a lot of games. You know, we are playing a lot of games. A lot of people think that Ronaldo on his own can play all. Listen, you're going to need Martial as well. And I know Martial wants to leave and he wants to leave badly, but there is game for everyone. It really is.
I was saying
you can rotate well. Look at Chelsea today, like, you know, when you look at like Lukaku up top, they haven't got a striker up top. Yes, they're playing unbelievably, but that sooner or later, the Lukaku, you know, thing will come into place. Or we need a striker. And I know it's not helped, but you know, we've got 4. Let's use the 4. We've got Champions League, FA Cup, games postponed. We're gonna need all 4. And with Rashford not really performing, you know, we need all 4.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
I mean, sorry, Flowers, mate. I'm going to let you carry on there now, actually, mate. Take us into the next bit because he's like, he knows who he's ready to play. So then it looks to me like, right, okay, these players are ready to play. Now go and show me you can play. And not all of them have done, mate. I'll bring in Rashford for one because we're talking about the forward positions here. Rashford has been so far off the boil. I think it's overflowed and the emergency switch has come on the hob, mate, because the water's overflowed, mate. That's how far off the boil he is. I mean, he's literally forgotten all his young player instincts. He's overthinking everything. I know this creeps into every player, but at Manchester United, you have to deal with that and you have to be able to handle the pressure which is coming. And last season, I think they all got a bit of an easy ride with no fans there, but more than ever now, I think the pressure is more than on for these players because Ralf, he isn't going nowhere. Nope. He's already set out his stall in terms of who's ready to play, who he wants to play. The players that he's trusting are going to have to start turning up for him at some point, mate. I mean, we got a bit of it against Burnley. That was without Rashford, though. I mean, Rashford, ultimately, is he a bit of a concern for you? I'll say a bit. It might be a lot, mate, for you, but we know what's there. We know what's there, mate, but we ain't seen it at all, mate.
It's a massive concern. Like, I've not seen... I can't remember a drop-off like this from a player. I cannot remember in recent times because the biggest criticism of Rashford, even when he was playing well, was always he makes the wrong decision. So he's passing when he should be shooting. He's shooting when he should be passing. He's picking up the ball and dribbling down blind alleys. I don't remember him doing that. Like, the one thing about him was he was always brave to a point where it was a criticism, where he pick up the ball and try to take a player on when it's not on. I don't remember him doing that. Like, he's not even facing defenders up. He's not even trying to get round players. I don't remember him having an impact in games anymore. Whereas one thing you'd always say about Rashford, whether he played well or he played badly, I remember him like we were talking about Saeed's infamous rant. This is what I'm talking about. Saeed remembered him from the game because he's played badly. Whereas now he's playing badly and having 0. I don't remember him against Norwich. He didn't do anything against Newcastle, Arsenal, Chelsea. That's 4 games off the top of my head where he's played. And I don't remember you doing anything. Like, that's one of the criticisms about McTominay. People would say he hides and he's not getting involved. Rashford's no longer getting involved. And I don't know if it's a technical issue, if it's a physical issue, if it's a confidence issue, but he has fallen all the way off. And he needs to be punished for that. He should be dropped. He shouldn't be. I don't even want him in the squad.
Yeah, do you think on that, Floss, and Jamie, actually, I'll bring you in on this one, mate. Do you think that now that Rashford's stats haven't started backing him out, that is why everyone's going in on him now. Do you think people would still be going in on Rashford if he'd scored the odd goal like he was? So, I mean, a lot of people brought up last season, the assists and the goals combination was up there near 40. And they were saying he had a bad season last season. I mean, do you think people would still be slagging him off like it was last season if he was banging in the odd goal and making the odd assist?
I think... Go on, sorry.
No. You can go. I was just thinking to a lesser. It's one of them because a lot of people can't see performances outside of GNA. Like if you get goals and assists, you're a great attacker. Like that's in people's minds. No matter, you could play terrible for the entire game, get a deflected goal, and you played exceptional that game. So
stat
it's like
manipulation.
Yeah, literally. That's why people call it stat padding. So yeah, to an extent, that is it. And we're starting to see that with Bruno now. The goals have dried up. The performances ain't too dissimilar. Like they're not that much. They ain't worlds apart. But now you're not getting goals and assists. We're not getting as many penalties. People are seeing the difference. I didn't need that, but Rashford's been awful. Bruno's been frustrating the life out of me as well. The same as like very, very. Both of them need to be dropped. What's going on, Jamie? My bad.
Sorry, no, I agree. I agree totally with what you're saying. I feel like if Rashford and we'll bring Bruno in the conversation as well because you mentioned him there, Flawless. I think you're right. Like I think the players need to be held accountable, and to a certain extent, I think under the previous manager, and I know all you guys' thoughts on Ollie anyway. I think they were getting away with it because he was tight with them, but now it's like the fans have actually you've probably been poor for the last 6 to 8 months now. You might have scored a few goals, and I always say to you this word, Adam, that it's elite level football. I always seem to say that when I'm speaking to you, but it's like they should be at a certain level.
I bring the elite level, mate. I make you say it. That's what it is.
You do, mate. That's it. You're the elite level here. But you expect a certain type of performance. I get that you're not gonna play well every single week. I'm sure we've all played football here. It happens, but it's when you're at that level, you shouldn't be playing that bad for this long and not be held accountable for it. So I'm glad that I've been saying on my Twitter for months and months, Rashford's decision making is awful for a top level player. He runs down blind alleys. He makes the wrong decisions 9 times out of 10. And I don't want to be one of these guys that always talks about this British core never being criticised, but we seem to do it. It's like the British players can play bad at Man United, yet they don't get criticised. But as soon as Pogba has a 2 out of 10, Martial has a 2 out of 10, everybody's raving about it. So if you're going to criticise players, at least be consistent with it. And I'm glad now that people are actually having a sort of a judgment on Rashford's performances and the way he's playing, because I've been saying it for ages, and I actually generally was like, have I got it wrong here? Am I seeing something different? But performances don't. I always say that eyes never lie, and you know what you're watching. And obviously, you boys, I know you, Saeed, and you, Adam, you go to every home game, so you're in the stadium a lot more than me. But you notice a lot more from attitude and sort of body language when you're in the stadium of every single player on the pitch, whereas the camera on the TV is just usually zoomed in on the player that's got the ball, so you don't really notice stuff like that. And I was amazed. I mean, I think I even said to you after the Newcastle game, Adam, and we were saying it together, weren't we, when we were coming down the stairs? Played on the pitch for 90 minutes, but at least there was some accountability there, and he got took off. He was so bad. I think it's the worst game I've ever seen him play for Man U.
Yeah, easily, yeah.
That's it. I mean, Big Ron, settle down. It's okay, mate. We are coming. Bruno gets the stick every single week, mate. So we don't need to bring him in. But your man Harry Maguire is also in the limelight. We are getting through to that. We're getting.
I don't know.
You're man, innit? That's your guy, man.
I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to do it now. But Big Ron. It is noted, mate. Don't worry about it. It hasn't been forgotten, pal. Believe me. I will tell you some of the things that have been shouted at Harry Maguire from the stands. Because, like Jamie said, I've been to every single game this season. And, yeah, mate, you're not the only one thinking what you're thinking. Trust me on that. But, Saeed, mate, going to Rashford, not in form. Cavani staying. Yep. Now comes the transfer window, mate, and everything sort of just gets a little bit awkward for Ralph, doesn't it? Because if he's not letting players go, which you said he's not, then when do these players play? Because we're talking about Rashford out of form, but Martial, because he's mentioned he's not on board with playing, he's not going to get a game, mate. That's quite clear, isn't it? Because Ralph says, if you're edging for a bet, God, oh Jesus, if you're edging out of the door,
hedge your bets, people. Hedge your bets, innit? Hedge your bets.
Yeah, play safe. If you're edging out of the door, then you're not going to be playing on this United team, mate. Is that a problem on its own now with January and the amount of games we've got, like you said, mate? Now it's because when someone gets injured, mate, it may be a case of you have to, in a way, doesn't it? It sort of causes a bit of an issue.
Yeah, it does. It does, and that's where Ralf Rangnick, he's bought his experience, his expertise, and he will have to kind of almost, get this to a happier camp, because the past regime or the past kind of influence of certain players being told that they were going to have a future, or certain players being told, that they might have a game, and that's now all coming onto the manager now in terms of Ralf Rangnick has to, almost clear the mess. But the problem is, though, is he going to be able to kind of, keep everyone happy? And that's the problem. And that's the thing for me. Is he going to be able to keep Cavani happy? Is he going to be able to keep Martial happy? I think he's not bothered about Martial because he's extensively looking for a deal. He's almost like saying to himself, I'm looking for a deal. Whereas Cavani's saying, well, nobody's really coming for me, but I'll still give 100% while I'm playing. So it's a tale of two. But I would still love Martial to be playing. But the problem is, though, he's actively looking for a club. So we should let him go. Same thing with Donny van der Beek. The same messages is still to Donny van der Beek as Ollie was giving. He will still be given game time. But I don't think Donny has got any sort of, I think he's almost, when you have that many broken promises and you have trust issues. Donny van der Beek has trust issues now where he's.
I think that's Martial though, fam, as well. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
I think Martial had this made up before Ralph came in. I think he had made his mind up as probably maybe I'm just guessing here, as early as October. He's like, yo, enough's enough. Like, let me just move on. Like, there's too much water under the bridge. Because if Martial had missed those chances, even though Cavani scored the equalizer against Newcastle and Jamie touched on it, if that's Martial missing those chances in that game, different conversation. He trended 110%. He's trended. Sorry to cut you off.
On that Saeed, mate. Actually, I asked this as well because you touched on it there with Donny. Ralph's actually said, look, he's not going anywhere, but he needs to improve. How are we seeing problems on the training ground with what Donny's doing here? Because it's the second manager now, isn't it, mate? We spoke about this the other day, but Ralph has pretty much come out and said it, hasn't he?
Adam, but the thing is, though, how can we ever know, though? That's why, for me, I don't know if I can't even trust them words if it came from Ralf Rangnick, because we will never know. You know what I mean? And that's why, for me, there's one thing I've learned in 2021 is never to believe hearsay evidence, in terms of what he said or he said. I want to see
that, mate. On that, it's like, is it actually looking now more than ever that unless you're fully invested in what Ralph is doing,
there you go.
Don't stand a chance, mate, do you? That's what I'm getting from it. I don't know about you guys. Set us off on that, but that's how I'm seeing it.
I like that though, man. Like, you need that. Like, be a drill. Like, if you're gonna fail, you're gonna fail with your style and your players. And if you don't do exactly what I want, we see it with Pep and Klopp. They're two of the most successful managers in it. Like, we see like Pep get rid of players. We've seen Klopp get rid of players. It's like, why you get rid? He didn't do what I want him to. You have to be a drill sergeant like that. So if Donny's not, even though I'm a fan of Donny, if he's not doing what Ralph wants him to do, that's well within Ralph's right to leave him out. As much as I want him to play, but
true. That's it. Mate. Yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? And that's the thing with United. We've seen. Listen, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got many things wrong here, but there was also maybe an element that players just weren't trying, maybe. And they did it under Mourinho, and they did it now under Ole. Some of them are very, very kind of egocentric. Some of them think that they've got their position wrapped up and they get a bit too big-headed. You know what I mean? And some of them have just got it too easy that they've never been dropped after a game. Like it or not, Fred did get dropped. You know what I mean? And that was because he had a bad first half. These are the kind of things we have to have, these kind of demands. Pep Guardiola does it. I know, no one blinks an eye. And no one even questions Guardiola. So why at this football club do we question the manager?
You know why that is, from success. Success shuts up 99.9% of people. If a mad issue came out now about Manchester City for whatever reason, it gets swept under the rug because they're 10 points clear. Like, now, if they were 10 points off, Grealish swept under because but now if they're 10 points off, That's a major issue. Oh my, that's headline news. People always want to look for extra things in regards to when a team's not doing well. Like sometimes the team just don't perform well or the players are not good. Like if two of our players got caught out for Chris, that's why United struggled against Norwich and Newcastle. No, we just struggled against Norwich and Newcastle because the players didn't perform on the night. Simple as that.
You nailed it there. I mean, Jamie, looking at Donny there, and we're all saying, "Oh, God, why can't we see? Why can't we see him? 100 million on Grealish. No one's moaning, mate.
Yeah,
no one's moaning
exactly.
No one's moaning in the press.
Yeah, the two lads made a great comment there as well, and I was just going to butt in, but I didn't want to speak over Flawless when he was talking there. But do you know the difference is, and it would be interesting to get your three lads' takes on what I'm going to say as well, and see if you agree with me or not. But this is my take on it. You haven't even listened to me yet.
Go on,
digging me out, isn't he? But when Guardiola come in and he got rid of Hart straight away, and everyone was like, "Wait a minute, this guy's like in England." See if that's the difference at Man City and at Liverpool. Yeah, that they are fully behind their manager, and whatever decisions they make, based on they need to get success on the back of it, they will go with. And I think Torres is another good example. He was bought for a lot of money at City. It didn't work out. And now he's gone back to Barcelona. And they're paying big money for these players. But the thing is, if Ralf come in and says, right, do you know what it is? Rashford, you're not my player. I want him out of the club. United wouldn't allow it to happen. And if he said the same with Pogba, or he come in and said, right, Maguire, you're not my centre-back. I need a more progressive centre-back. I won't rid of him. I don't want him. I'm not going to use him. United would be like, oh, no, wait a minute. He's our prize asset. We paid £80 million for him. You can't do that. He's the club captain. So when you've got automatic shackles when you're coming into the door to start with, before you've even met the players, automatically Ralf has got his philosophy, yeah? And we've seen it in the Crystal Palace performance. I thought it was absolutely brilliant against them for the majority of the game. We were pressing high. But look at it now. It's gone back to the stale, sidewards, backwards passing, slow tempo, no movement, no creativity. Are you telling me that's because of the manager? Because I don't think it is. I think he's got a realization of certain players cannot play his style of football, but he will not be given the reins to drop them players, because you're probably dropping 6 out of the 11 players on the pitch and bringing new players in. And United there's something within that club, whether it's made upstairs by the suits or somewhere, where certain things have to be dealt with properly and you can't question them. Like Rashford must play, Fred must play, Maguire must play. They can't be criticised. And when you're dealing with that politics as a manager and not being allowed to manage the football, you've got a massive issue there. And like Saeed said a minute ago, we'll never know the ins and outs at the back of the club, but you can't tell me that there's not some sort of influence there, because happen at that club and there's no accountability behind the decisions, and you never get all the questions we have as a fan base, they never get answered. And that's the biggest issue for United. I think realistically, sorry, I'm going on a bit here, so I'll cut it short.
No, get it off your chest, man. It's cool. You got a lot to say. Get it off your chest, man, innit? You have your Romelu Lukaku moment. It's calm. Don't worry about it. Get it off your chest.
Adam only calls on me here once every couple of months, so I've got to get it on when I get my face on. But I think we need a change. I think we need a cultural change, and I feel like half of the squad needs to be gone, and we need to start again, because we're so far behind City and Liverpool and Chelsea. We're never going to catch them in the next 1 to 2 years, in my opinion. So why not try and build something now that's a bit different, that's a bit more fresh, and can maybe have a bit more longevity? Maybe go and buy more younger players and try and buy the more cheaper players instead of flinging £100 million at players, because it's clearly not working anyway. We are spending a lot of money on certain types of players, but it still isn't working. So we need to change something, don't we? But will it be allowed to change culturally? That's the biggest question for me. Sorry, I
mean, does that pose the question? 6 months may not be Ralph's tenure in that dugout side. Does that sort of point in that direction? Because Jamie's right, and that's what I think Ralf is doing. He's not even implementing his style on the team yet, simply because the players in there aren't good enough for it, in my opinion. It's just how I'm reading the room. I don't think he thinks a lot of them are good enough to do what he wants or on board enough. Do you think he's sort of setting this up here for himself to be in that dugout longer?
You know what, man? You wouldn't even bet against it, and that's why a lot of people. I did say, you know, don't be surprised if Ralf Rangnick stays beyond these 6 months. Even though for me, I think it would be a different direction, and I think you know, we might lose out on the big managers that are out there. Especially for me, Ten Hag would be the one in the summer. He would be available, so that would be the case. But for me, I just think you know, like Jamie says, there's a lot of things. Cultural reset. I said that about 2 years ago, and I think a lot of people were like, "What would you mean? We've got loads of quality players there." But I said a cultural reset in terms of mentality. Have we got the right players with the right mentality, you know, to win? Have we got players that are willing to battle it? You know, when you look at Man City, you know what I mean, and you look at the Bernardo Silvas, the Rodris, these guys who they've not been at the football club for that many years, but they get it. You know what I mean? And we've got players who almost coasting, and I think, you know, where's that kind of level of ambition that's from these players? What do they want to achieve? Have they got too much wages? Are they just happy that they've made it? You know, Man United player, you know, I've got the number 10 shirt, I've got this shirt, I've got that shirt, you know, I'm a starter no matter what. So I think the manager's like, nah, mate, this ain't happening here. You're getting benched, you're getting benched, you know, nobody's immune to criticism, you know, and that's the way forward for me, because at the end of the day, we might not get top 4, but, you know, if Ralf implements a system where you can have top 4, but then it's like, we're not playing the football we want to play, and then almost the players are running the show, and they're almost like it's a player power. You're looking at Tuchel today, you know, drop Lukaku, you know. So with success, there can become some sort of, you know, certain things that come with it. We've just got to have a level playing field where we can bring it all together, and I think Ralf Rangnick can do that. He can play the right football with the right players. It shouldn't be the best footballers, you know, out there, and it's like almost, you know, mix and match. You know, you want the players that implement and complement the system for me.
That's it. I mean, looking ahead, flawless, mate. People more, we're not seeing this player, we're not seeing that player. It's not enough rotation, like Big Ron says in the comment box there. What's changed since Ole? If we get the win against Wolves tomorrow, mate, that's 4 wins out of 5, 13 out of 15. It's not exactly disastrous, is it, mate?
Hey, if it was the last guy in charge, it's all hell, Ollie title charge, give him an extension of his contract. That's what it is. Like, we have to call a spade a spade. It's 5 games in. Do I want to see? I've already said it. Yeah, I'll say it again. I want to see more rotation. I'm not exactly happy about some of the lineups we've seen. However, no manager is going to come in and do everything that you like. I trust Ralph to do the job more than I trust myself. So if he does something different, cool. I want the football to be better. Absolutely. And this is why I said at the very start, I'm more interested in him going upstairs, because if what Jamie says is right, which could be true about players not being dropped, the way we're signing players, etc., he can change that. We do need a structural change. And I think he's the type of guy who will do that. I've heard he's turned down Bayern Munich before. He's turned down Chelsea before. He initially turned us down as well, which is good because he wants certain demands, because he could have easily came in, said, I'm going to take the big bag for 6 months and then leave. But he's like, no, let me stay on. And I believe he will try and implement change, which will come. This season already, all we have to do, top 4, we're looking at FA Cup, running the Champions League. They're the 3 things we're looking at. And we're capable, to me, of doing all those 3 things, because we still have players who can win us games at any given moment. They kind of 110% do that. So, but yeah, we already knew we were miles away from Chelsea and Liverpool, but football goes in cycles. So these things happen. So what we need to do is start working on it now. And I think bringing in Ralph at this moment in time is a massive step in the right direction. Him going upstairs is another step. Him then bringing in a manager to work under him. Now we're getting a strong connection between the board and the manager, and a profile and a type of player, because there is a nucleus of a good squad. It just needs sorting out. But there's no such thing as a perfect squad. Look at Chelsea. No. Look at Liverpool. Look at City. None of these, like everyone's talking about City needing a striker, Liverpool's bench not being good enough. Our bench is better than Liverpool's bench. Like, if we had their bench, we'd kick off. If we're chasing a game and we're bringing on Ox to play false 9, we'd burn down Old Trafford. Let's keep it real. Like, we 110% do that. So we can work on it.
Jamie, there, it's like expectation levels. Big Ron there says Conte 5 games in at Spurs, Tuchel 5 games, but Ralph is back to volleyball. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's volleyball.
It's a bit harsh.
It is harsh, but I know Big Ron. I've met him face to face, and he speaks his mind. Good man as well. But I mean, 5 games. I mean, like I said there, if it is 4 wins, it's not too bad. I do think that this is a bigger job. And like we've talked about, these players have got away with absolute murder for so long. It's hard to turn this around and show an actual sort of style and more progression on the pitch. I think it is result-based at the moment from what we're dealing with. It's not ideal. It's not what we want. We want to see something more. I just think it's going to take longer for us to get there, mate. It's just the same with United, with everything, mate. And the fact that these players right now have still got more of a say until we start shipping them out. I can't remember who said it. It was Jamie or if it was Flawless who said it. I don't think we're really going to see the real Ralph until he has got players in, mate. I don't. I think, yeah, isn't it? We could say, look, Tuchel did it straight away with the same squad that Lampard had. But I just feel like United is just a bigger issue. And I think we're seeing it.
Yeah, but they had the fingers with that Chelsea squad. They did, even though it wasn't Tuchel's team. They had a better and a more balanced team than what we have. This is a bigger job than I thought it was. But I expected more from them. And when you look at it, it's like, right, there is issues within the squad. And maybe we overlook them a little bit because we're emotionally invested in the team. And you are going to do that because you're slightly biased towards it. But like I say, we're 4 or 5 games in. Let's see where we're at 10, 15 games in.
That's it. Said, mate, go on, Powell, you was.
No, I was just saying that, there's a lot of, players who have a lot of egos, and, under Ollie, it was almost a case of you're going against a legend, you're going against a club guy who's an icon, you're going against a player who means so much to the fans. So it was almost a case of you went down that route of trying to disrespect Ollie. It was like you're disrespecting the fans. You know what I mean? And I think they knew not to do anything at that time, if you told Cavani now, to give up that 7th shirt to Ronaldo, would it be the same when it was Ollie? I'm not sure. But I think these kind of things, they're going to come with the territory because, it has been a lack of kind of accountability for the past 2.5 years. And that's a problem, really. If he's there for 6 months, you know what I mean? Are we expecting a lot from Ralf Rangnick for 6 months? That's for the people to understand. But, to get the top 4 in the FA Cup, like Florence says, is achievable. And if we, I think TJ said in the comments there, we win all our games and we're 2 points behind, Super Chelsea. You know what I mean? Or is it 1 point? I think, you know what I mean? Sorry, 3 points behind.
So you're saying top 3's on? Is that what you're saying, Saeed? Yeah? Is this how far we're going?
Listen,
is this how we're going?
All I'm saying is,
I just want to say to people, the views of Saeed are the views of Saeed and Saeed only. Let me just put that out there already. Yeah, I'm just putting that out there, fam.
Someone's saving this up right now.
Yeah, before you start talking top 3's and top 2's and title challenges and that.
Listen, no, hold on. Title challenges are almost done. But all I'm saying to you is, we beat Wolves tomorrow. We beat our 2 games in hand, which is capable. I'm not sure about Brentford, but I think it will take, a lot of character and a lot of willpower to beat them.
The way they
watched them today, and today they were good again. Today they got the win, but it can be done. But we do it with 3 points behind Chelsea, and things are looking different. But again, it's easier said than done. But all I'm saying is, ifs and buts. But we can do it. We have got the players, and that's why we have to keep most of them here, because a lot of players are off form, and a lot of players that should be in form but are not in form. So,
that's it. I mean, Jamie, in terms of Trev's comment here, is this a problem at United at the moment? He's like I was saying there with the player power, the obvious sort of, you don't hear about this from any other club. It's that the problem there is always too many leaks from Man United dressing room. That doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me either, mate. But always seems to be United. I mean, there was a big leak from Romano with the Lukaku interview, which we've all seen. That's one hell of a. That's not even a leak. That's just someone opening the tap, basically, and saying, there you go, take as much as you want. But, I mean, that is a problem, mate. It's like the negative attitude then reverberates around the fan base, around the club from these leaks. And I've seen a lot of that over the last couple of weeks with what's going on at United, especially after a bad result. It just leads into it more and makes it more relevant, and then starts to give the bad blood. And like Flawless said, unless you are City and crushing it on the field, and it's not a big deal, it's more of a deal. And it just seems, like I said, and this is part of Manchester United, the fact that we are bigger than everyone else we've mentioned, and that we're an easy target right now because we're playing so poorly on the pitch, and news is easy to spread with this club. It's not helping us at all.
No. No, I think there's massive cliques in that dressing room. I think you can see it. Even when the players are warming up together, there's little groups, and I don't think that's ever healthy in a dressing room. I know it happens, especially at that level of football. It's always going to happen. The European players are going to get on with each other because they speak the same languages and stuff like that. I get that, but there needs to be. You can have your cliques, but then when you're with the team, you need to be as one team. And when you're out on the field, it's that 11. It doesn't matter if he's your mate, and it's about the badge on the shirt. And you've seen with the last few weeks with Aubameyang, he done his stint first, and then Lukaku came out and took it to a whole nother level. But look at the way they've been dealt with. Would that happen at Man United? I don't think it would. Like, you've got Lingard posting pictures up on his Instagram in a West Ham top. Like, is he winding me up? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the ultimate betrayal. He comes out and says he's a Manchester man. He's from the academy. He's the 0. whatever % that gets through the academy. And then he's going on like that. Like, and then he comes out and says he'll hold off till the summer. Like, you either want to go and play in your football or you want the bag that's coming with it. Like, it's as simple as that. If you're chasing the wages, keep doing what you're doing. But from my point of view, he's losing respect. Especially from me, I think it's disgusting what he's doing. Every couple of weeks, it's a West Ham. If you want to go to West Ham, lad, go. Do you know what I mean? I like Lingard. Do you know what I mean? I think he's got something to offer as a player, and he's definitely a good player to have in that squad. And the two lads have said it, and I know you've said it as well, Adam, that we do need a bit more rotation in the squad. Lingard's a good option for that, but when he's acting like that, then what's all that about? Do you know what I mean? But there's no accountability there. Whereas if he was at a bigger club, if he was doing that to City, at Liverpool, at Chelsea, he would be chopped from the squad completely. But it's like we can't do that, and I don't really get it, to be honest with you. There's just something not right with our club when it comes to stuff like that.
Does that lead into flawless captain as well? Then I'll bring in Maguire now because he is the worst performer in the team at the moment for me.
Absolutely.
Actually, do you know what? Since Ralf's come in, he's my only concern in the defensive line now.
Yeah,
he is, and he's our captain, mate. Is there? And you know what? People say, look, the captaincy saves you a lot. It saves you a lot of grace, doesn't it? The captaincy, it would seem, at Manchester United. But the big decisions, like Jamie said, Tuchel made with Lukaku, you don't do that, son. You're not playing. It's as simple as that. 95 million or not, it's not happening. Then Aubameyang, leading goal scorer, club captain, not seeing him. And for both of them teams, it's not really caused them a problem, mate, on the pitch, because Chelsea's performance today, look at Arsenal now, all of a sudden, without the big ego. There is a case for what Jamie said there. If big decisions are made and someone does finally front up and have the balls to do it, it could benefit us.
Yeah, because accountability, and Jamie mentioned their word, that's the key word there, because accountability keeps everybody on their toes. The problem with Manchester United is nobody is held accountable for poor performances. No matter how Maguire, use Maguire because that's who we no matter how well or how poorly he plays, he starts. Like in the past, he could drop 2 out of 10s for 4 games straight. And he knows the 5th game, I am going to play. There's people in here who will work day jobs, night jobs, whatever. If you perform poorly at your job, you will be punished. Whether that's a strike 1, a strike 2, or eventually let go. But at big Manchester United Football Club, which is we're talking the highest level of football, there is zero accountability. Even with the Lingard thing, I'm not too particularly fussed about it. My issue with it is the club allowing that to go on. That needs to be sorted out. Either you're here, you're staying, and you're leaving in the summer, or you're leaving in January, or you're staying beyond the summer. Why have we got Lingard running down his contract 6 months? Who's let that happen? Why is this not so? That's no help to him. That's no help to his teammates. That's no help to anybody. And we was talking about cliques. Say there is someone who's close to Lingard and they're like, wow, how are you letting Jesse Lingard's contract run down to 6 months? You lot ain't valuing him. And this is someone who's been a model professional up until this point, came through the youth ranks, etc., etc. And that's how you're treating him. That's not a good thing to do. And they wouldn't do that to a player. They're never doing that to Cristiano Ronaldo. Even at his age now, they're never letting his contract run down to 6 months. They're never doing that to a Rashford. They're never doing that to a Bruno. And this type of thing breeds, it's just terrible from top to bottom. And that is just that's a massive indictment of Manchester United Football Club as a whole. that we're talking about this. No one else, no other 4 fans of any clubs, maybe Barcelona because they're a mess, outside of us two are talking about these type of things. We're talking on the field stuff. Like, this is ridiculous. Either he's staying or he's not. Why is this so difficult for you lot to figure out? Did you not see that when his contract was running out? Did you lot not notice that he has 12 months left? They're like, all right, let's get this sorted in the summer.
Do you know what they'll do, mate? They'll blame COVID. And they blame COVID for...
You lot not got Zoom. Have you lot not got Zoom? We're on StreamYard. You lot not got StreamYard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You can't just link up on the StreamYard and talk.
I'm telling you.
Basic stuff.
There's a thing. There is a thing. It's got a phone. And you dial a number, and someone, hey mate, no contract. See you later.
Sure.
Your job's done.
You can say FaceTime, whatever you want to do to sort it out, and you can have multiple people on it. Like, figure these things out. Your big Manchester United, big deals. You're talking massive numbers into millions upon millions of pounds, and you man can't do deals. Like, incompetence.
We're getting into football. Back into football. Said. Hit me with a team for tomorrow night, mate, because we're talking about decisions.
Tomorrow night.
We've got decisions because we had 2 fullbacks who came in and played well. I think Harry Maguire's going to get away with it because Bailly's off to AFCON. Lindelof, I don't know where his recovery is from COVID, but Bruno to come back. Does Rashford come in for Cavani? Can he play 2 games in the week? Big decisions, mate, and there's a lot that we could probably guess, but we're probably going to get it wrong. But what would you do against Wolves tomorrow night, considering the opposition?
I would, for me, bring back Dalot. I think obviously De Gea in goal. Dalot, I think Wan-Bissaka, sorry man, he's just not up to the tails for me as a modern day fullback. Nothing against Wan-Bissaka, but I just think defensively he's solid. But again, going forward, what we need to do, especially when sometimes we don't have enough width, you need them fullbacks to be on their toes. So Dalot, I think it will obviously have to be Maguire, obviously Varane. The thing is, for me, I know Luke Shaw had a great game, but I think that was to cope with the physicality, and I think Ralf Rangnick pointed towards that. He wanted a lot of physicality in there, and hence why Matic played, hence why Luke Shaw played. I am going to bring Telles back in. I think he does deserve, to be brought back in. Newcastle game, I don't think he was the best, but I don't think he was by means any worse. I'll still keep Telles. I think McTominay deserves this chance again. I think he played, for me, the best man of the match against Burnley. He deserves this chance again. I'm going to bring Fred back in, purely because if anyone says bring Donny in, he don't make sense because he's not played, and it just wouldn't happen. Matic, for me, I'm not sure about. So I'll bring Fred in, even though I don't think Fred helps McTominay's game. But then either way, they both don't help each other's game. They're both not ready for each other. But we're going to put that in there because, I think we need a bit of, mobility in that midfield. I think Fred offers that mobility. I'm going to keep the 2, Sancho and Greenwood. I thought they played well in that 10 rows. And I am going to keep the front 2 the same, Cavani and Ronaldo. So what I've changed is Telles and Fred back in. And obviously Varane back in as well, 3. And obviously Dalot, so 4.
Keeping... Flawless, I'll come to you next, mate. You literally just say, look, you've got the concern with how Cavani, well, it's not a concern, it's sensible, but it's a concern for us because we don't see him as much as we want. But he wants to look after himself, 2 games in 3 days. Do you let him just play the hour out? If he gets tired, then bring Rashford on? Or do you just completely refresh it up, mate?
Yeah, I wouldn't bring Rashford on at all. You know what I mean? Personally, I'd have him in the stands, but that's just me because his performance, like I was saying, he's not played well in... I can't remember the last time he played well. That's how long it's been. But in regards to... Because who was the front 4 against Burnley? Because I didn't watch the game live.
So it's Cavani, Ronaldo, Sancho, Greenwood.
Sancho, yeah.
You go 2-3 games. That's tough. Obviously, do you play? Yeah, I'd play Ronaldo against Wolves. I'd probably play Greenwood and then have Cavani off the bench because he is a very good bench option. Last thing you want to be doing as a defending team if you're like trying to hold on to a lead or hold on to a draw is see Cavani come off the bench, his movement. We've seen that against Newcastle. It's a prime example. Like how many chances we created and we didn't play well. And really and truly should have nicked that game even though we didn't deserve it. So yeah, as a front 4, I'd probably go Greenwood, Ronaldo. I would throw in Donny. I want to see him in one of these 10 roles. And I want 2 creators in those roles. So I probably would play Sancho and Donny in that front 4. I know that's not going to happen, but that's what I prefer. Yeah, he's another one. No Bruno, no. I would not bring him back in. No. Not a chance.
You think he'll be chomping at the bit, having had a game out? Do you reckon he'll learn his lesson, or do you think he needs another game?
He needs another game. He needs 2, 3, 4 games. I don't expect to see. I hope I'm proven wrong and he has an absolute clinic, but form's not something you can just turn off and on. And he's another one I don't remember that. Even outside of his goals, when's the last time he played well for us? I can't remember. It's been that long. Where I'm like, right, Bruno, it might have been opening day of the season. Legit, it might have been that. I don't remember the last time. So I don't want to see Bruno or Rashford. None of them starting the game. Absolutely not.
Jamie, what are you doing with that team tomorrow night, mate?
I'm good. I don't think Cavani will be able to play 2 games in a row, so I feel like that's an issue that needs sorted straight away. I'd go with Greenwood up front as well. I don't want to see Rashford starting. I feel like we do need a little bit of creativity. I think no matter what squad you pick, certain players are going to play anyway. I'll be amazed if Bruno doesn't play tomorrow, because he's an player and he's a match winner. He hasn't been in form, like Flawless is saying. I totally agree with that, but he's like an undroppable player. He seems to be one of them players that's got that sort of, it doesn't matter how bad it is. Well, I'm not saying Bruno's a bad player at all. He just hasn't been playing to the standard that we expected from last season, and I think there's nothing wrong with saying that either. I'm not digging him out or anything like that. He's got quality, but he isn't showing it at the moment. Just like Rashford, so accountability again. But I would bring Telles in. I think with Wolves, it's going to be a very tight game. You know what that you're going to get with them. They're going to come. They're going to be really well organised. I really like their manager. I think he's got them really well organised. They're all structured. They know their roles. They're going to play 3 in midfield. So I totally agree with what Saeed said. We're going to need legs in that midfield. Whether you like Fred or not, he does give us a little bit more energy-wise in there. He snaps into tackles. We're going to have to use well tomorrow. So I feel like Telles is probably an out ball. And Dalot as well. I'd bring both of them back in. I don't think Shaw and Bissaka done anything wrong against Burnley, but it was against Burnley. And the one thing I will say is, I consistently always say it when I come on here as well, you need to manage the team based on who you're playing. And sometimes that means leaving certain players out because they don't fit the game plan for the opposition. So, I wouldn't make major changes. I would like to see Donny as well. Flawless, I agree, mate. It's just not going to happen.
It's not highly unlikely.
So you've got to be realistic with little tweaks here and there. You don't want to be changing, you don't want wholesale changes, but I feel like for the Wolves game, we're going to need to be good on the ball. The fullbacks are going to give us an outlet because of the tight midfield. It's going to be hard to play within through their midfield. And I feel like Dalot and Telles have the more quality in the wider positions. They're more comfortable on the ball than Shaw and Bissaka. Yeah. I'd bring top and obviously have Fred in for the reasons that Saeed said earlier, just the energy, really.
Yeah, that is it. I mean, honestly, I probably know what's going to happen. I know what I'd like to happen, but it's pretty much with you guys there. If the player comes in and does well, he deserves to keep his spot in the team. The only thing is, I think we rotated it just for freshening it up factors at fullback positions. Neither Telles or Dalot deserves to be dropped for me, but I do believe Shaw is going to come back in for Telles. I think that's the one. Wan-Bissaka, I think he is surplus at the moment. He is, because I think Ralph can turn Dalot into a defender. I don't think he can turn Wan-Bissaka into the attacker that Dalot is.
You can't turn water into wine.
Yeah. No, I was a defender. I had my capabilities. I knew what that was, and I stuck to them capabilities. There's no one could turn me into a marauding winger from centre back.
Self-awareness is a skill, though. Because there's defenders out there who think they're wingers, who think they're nines.
Is a skill, and it is an art form, and it is the most important position on the pitch. I totally agree with that, Flawless. It is. So up the centre backs, up the 6'4" centre backs. That's what it is.
Let's see my guy a bit.
You ain't winning a header against me, put it that way, guys.
That's true.
I'm of the 90s caliber defender.
That is very true. 100%. That is
very true. Club some of that.
That pretty much sums up the show for today. I just want to get some score predictions, though, before we go. Saeed, mate, this is notoriously the most boring game in Premier League history.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wolves have been back in the top flight. We've managed to score more than one goal once against them.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm
well,
picking
mate.
2-1. And that's why I'm picking 2-1.
You're going 2-1.
2-1. No, honestly, I just think we haven't got goals. You know, we scored 3 goals against Burnley, but I don't think that told the whole story.
No.
You know what I mean? I think we were quick fire, but it wasn't, you know, we didn't but I think 2-1, I think Wolves, you know, we have to be wary, man. And I think that's why maybe I get why you mean Shaw might play for the physicality of Traore on that right hand side, but we'll see.
Yeah.
2-1.
Jamie, what are you having, mate? What's your score?
I'm not going to sit on the... I was going to go 2-1 as well, but I feel like Said's just stole my thunder there. But yeah, it's going to be a tight game. We're not going to get a lot of chances, so we're going to have to take them. So yeah, 2-1 for me. Wolves will score, but for a silly error. It always happens against them. And they've got a lot of quality out wide as well, which is going to be interesting. But yeah, 2-1.
On that flawless, mate, they haven't scored the last 3 visits to Old Trafford, Wolves. Can you see them scoring? What's your score prediction, mate?
Yeah, because I was gonna say the same as these two as well. I was gonna go 2-1, but I go different. I say 1-0 because we know it's not the most entertaining game. It's not gonna be off your seat stuff. I'm not really looking forward to it, but yeah, I say 1-0. Yeah, I'll go with 1-0.
1-0. I'm going with 2-0 just to mix it up.
We're
going to break that. We're going to break that duck. I think Newcastle was the kick up the arse they needed. I'm clutching, but I'm going with it. I'm going with it, guys.
Had it been a minute since we beat Burnley at Old Trafford before that 3-1? Was it not 2-3 seasons where we had?
No, we actually beat them last season, the same score, but with no fans.
3-1.
Yeah, with no fans. So it's the first time with fans. So it's like, yeah, obviously, that's it. That season kind of don't count, innit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's it. Guys, that is it for today. I'm just going to get the guys, give the guys just a quick chance just to shout out their socials so you can chat with them and catch up what they're up to. Jamie, just hit the people up on yours, mate, first of all, pal.
Yeah, just what's on the screen, mate. That's my Twitter. I'm always on there talking United. So not too far away from the old 900 followers. So yeah, get
on Jamie, get him up to the 1,000 mark. Oh, by the way, guys, I think we're about 20 away from 22,000 on this channel. So if you haven't, just hit that subscribe button while you're at it, people. And all my other socials are on there. Not big.
How long I've not been here and that. I didn't know it was that. All right, man. Congrats. You know what I'm saying? This is growing. I love that.
Keep it going, mate. And speaking of the devil, Flawless just said it there, mate. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere. Mate, tell the people what's happening, what you're up to next, and where they can catch you.
Yeah, that's me, Flawless, on Twitter and Instagram. People follow me there. And then Sarcasm City TV on the YouTube and the Twitch. We have content similar to this. Then there's Premier League watch-alongs, NBA watch-alongs as well, boxing show, UFC show, multiple sports. So check it out. Go live every day on the YouTube, people. So you'll always find content on Sarcasm City TV.
That's the one, guys. And my man there, Said.
Yeah,
mate. Where are you in the country this week, mate? Got much work going on?
No. We're in Manchester. Games tomorrow, so you have to stay in Manchester. But yeah, I'm actually going live in about 5 minutes. Preview for the Wolves game. So big up everybody who wants to come and join us. And yeah, man, just keep supporting the channel. And let's get to add him to 22,000, man.
Yeah, that's it. I'm actually just going to have a quick nosy on it now just to make sure where we're at. Yeah, it's not moved much, but yeah. Well, we're still at 18 away. We'll see anyway. It'll get there when it wants to. Guys, that is it for today. Massive thank you for everyone in the chat, as always, for joining us. I'll be on United Stand 8 o'clock tonight. Join me there. And that's it for now, guys. Wolves tomorrow. Hopefully, we're talking a good game and a United win, and we're into 2022 with a bang. But for now, cheers for watching, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. As always, I'll catch you in the week. See you.